Passion, inspiration, and perseverance are hallmarks of our region. Thankfully, all these characteristics and more came together in the early part of this century to help create new economic revitalization for women and girls in our region. The formation of the Women and Girls Foundation. In the 1990s, women of prominence like Teresa Hines and Elsie Hillman were speaking publicly about the importance of women's equality and the crucial need for women to participate in politics and philanthropy. The words of those female vanguards inspired a group of women in Southwest Pennsylvania to create a foundation that would spread the seeds of social change in our region for years to come.
The Women and Girls Foundation is giving the women of Southwestern Pennsylvania a greater voice in the lives of their families, their communities, and their nation. Their simple yet powerful message is that it is no longer acceptable for girls and women in our community to be paid less, respected less, or represented less.
Over the next 5 years, the Women and Girls Foundation, under the guidance of Executive Director Heather Arnay, proved that they were about much more than creating a better community for women. Their work would help ensure that they created a better community for all.
In their first full year of existence, the Women and Girls Foundation wasn't about to sit idly by before taking action. Instead, the foundation took on what was at the heart of their mission: equal representation, increasing women on boards. Out of the gate, the Women and Girls Foundation discovered that women were drastically underrepresented on Pittsburgh boards, authorities, and commissions. The foundation invested in a study conducted by students at Carnegie Mellon University that proved less than 1/3 of the appointees to the city and county boards were women. They also partnered with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and found that women had hardly any seats at the table when it came to corporate boards.
We undertook this study of women and their place in the workforce here because it's sort of urban legend that women have a very hard time in this region gaining the opportunities that they need to thrive. What we found is that although the workforce in this region is 55% female, the board representation is only 9% female, and representation on executive teams across the region is about 9.8% female.
Working with City Council and more than 60 coalition partners, the Women and Girls Foundation helped pass fair representation legislation to the City and County Council, creating a transparent appointment process. And because of this process, by 2008, women would make up over 50% of appointees to city boards. Women and Girls Foundation also launched a community effort called Zero No More, directed at diversifying the corporate boards of Pittsburgh. These efforts would be just the beginning of how the foundation would change business as usual in Southwest Pennsylvania.
Proving that young voices can resonate loudly, the Women and Girls Foundation's Girls as Grantmakers program took on retail giant Abercrombie & Fitch in a public protest over sexism in retail. Amplifying girls' voices, Abercrombie & Fitch Girl Caught. When the popular clothing store Abercrombie & Fitch began selling sexist t-shirts that were demeaning to women, the girls from the Girls as Grantmakers program decided to take a stand and girl-caught the retailer. Soon, they learned just how powerful a good cause can be when they found themselves in the national media spotlight.
You may have noticed that t-shirts have really come a long way from I Heart New York or Virginia is for Lovers. In fact, some shirts are getting so graphic, a group of young women in Pennsylvania is calling for a boycott or girl-caught of the store that sells them.
With appearances on the Today Show and CNN, and by making national headlines, they rallied teens throughout the country to demand the t-shirts be removed from the store shelves and brought about a national conversation for the need to end sexism in America. Proving, without a doubt, to never underestimate the impact of girl power.
Insisting that all women, regardless of socioeconomic status, be afforded human rights, the Women and Girls Foundation, in conjunction with their grantee Lydia's Place, took on Allegheny County Jail's policy of shackling female inmates during childbirth. Defending women's rights behind bars. In 2006, the official policy at Allegheny County Jail was to shackle female prisoners to their hospital beds during childbirth. Lydia's Place, a women and child advocacy group, along with the Women and Girls Foundation, found the policy to be so outdated and barbaric that they set out to change it, leveraging the press to elevate their cause.
We were able to have a young woman who had had this experience tell her story to a journalist, and it actually made the front page news. And so the headline the next day was Sheriff Rescinds Policy.
Not only did they succeed in their mission, but the work of Lydia's Place and the Women and Girls Foundation is now a national model for female prisoner advocacy groups across the nation.
Engaging in a challenging subject, the Women and Girls Foundation worked for change within a formidable group, the Pittsburgh Police Department. Creating a new domestic violence policy. In the summer of 2006, 3 Pittsburgh police officers were given controversial promotions despite having domestic violence allegations in their past. Serving as a powerful convener, the Women and Girls Foundation hosted discussions between the Fraternal Order of Police, Mayor Luke Ravenstahl, City Council, victim advocacy groups, NCJW, and NOW. The Women and Girls Foundation gave a voice to help craft a new domestic violence policy for the City of Pittsburgh Police Bureau. The Women and Girls Foundation, once again, helped to ensure a safer community for all.
While the wage gap between men and women has existed since women entered the workforce many decades ago, Pittsburgh's wage gap continues to be one of the worst in the nation. Seeing our region's gender wage gap as a critical economic development issue, the Women and Girls Foundation was going to do something about it. Increasing wage equity. In 2004, women nationally earned 80 cents to every dollar a man made, but in Southwest PA, women were making less than 70 cents. No longer willing to accept this fact, the Women and Girls Foundation, in conjunction with advocacy groups across the country, began staging Equal Pay Day rallies, all with amazing turnouts. Not only did women and men across the region show up to fight for this cause, but so did local politicians. In 2008, Women and Girls Foundation and City Council President Doug Shields championed legislation through City Council that mandated that the city conduct a race and gender wage equity audit to analyze and remedy current wage gaps for the city employees. In 2009, Allegheny County Council followed suit, mandating gender and race equity study be conducted for the county every 5 years. Helping to bridge the gap of pay disparity for women and people of color, moving forward and making our region a fairer place for girls to grow up, work, and thrive.
The recession that hit the U.S. in late 2008 has had a devastating impact on people across the nation. Looking to the future, the Women and Girls Foundation is focusing its attention on how it can be especially helpful to our region in this critical time. 2009 to 2011 Strategic Plan.
We will focus our attentions during 2009 through 2011 on articulating how women and girls are being impacted by the economic recession and advocating for their inclusion in economic recovery efforts. We are especially excited to be launching a 5th anniversary campaign to develop the funds necessary to ensure that the Women and Girls Foundation will be a sustainable resource to the community moving forward. We are so grateful to one of our founding board members, Kathy Raphael, whose lead gift to this campaign helped jumpstart our efforts. Through Kathy's generosity and through the stewardship of campaign co-chairs Cecile Springer and Georgia Berner, the 5th Anniversary Campaign Committee, and the Women and Girls Foundation Board of Directors, we have raised over $1 million in grants and pledges to date towards our $3.5 million campaign goal.
I am so proud that the Women and Girls Foundation is in its 5th year, and being one of the founding mothers, I wanted to acknowledge the work that they've done and where we're going to go from here. So it was important to me to give as generously as I could to support the campaign for the 5th year anniversary. It is an honor and a privilege for me to make a stretch gift to keep the work going.
Moving into the future, I hope more and more people will get involved in the Women and Girls Foundation in a myriad of ways. Whether you're interested in getting involved as an activist or advocate, whether you're interested in joining a coalition to engage in advocacy, whether you're interested in investing your dollars or applying for a grant. I just hope that when this community of Southwest Pennsylvania thinks of the Women and Girls Foundation, that more and more people think of it as their foundation, because that's what it is.